Hi everyone, it's Kaz, and today I'm going to be showing you my Readathon tracker. So this is a spreadsheet that I've been working on for quite some time. I mean, I really enjoy making and working with spreadsheets, but I don't know everything there is to know about Excel. So it took a little while to put this all together, and I mean, not everything's going to be perfect. If there's anything that you think would help improve it or any formulas that'll make things more efficient and easy, I would love to hear it. I'll jump into the kind of walkthrough in just a moment and show you how to use a spreadsheet and what kind of things it can track. But just very briefly, this is a spreadsheet that I designed for tracking my progress with readathons. So if you like to keep a track of how many pages you read within certain periods of time, this is definitely great for you. It also allows you to track your reading challenges, whether or not you have completed them, and a very general idea of how many books you've started and finished within a set time. If you're looking for a spreadsheet that allows you to track a lot more data and statistics, this probably isn't what you're looking for. In that case, I would recommend Let's Read's spreadsheet. He does one every single year, and each year he adds a lot of things and makes changes based on everyone's feedback. It's so wonderful. I use this for my general reading year statistics. So you can track things like how long it takes you to read each book, different genres, what formats, where they come from, whether you've reviewed it, what you own, books that you acquire, books that you unhaul, books that you DNF. It's great. There's a lot of charts. I'll leave a link to his most recent walkthrough video down below if you want that. I would certainly recommend it if you like reading statistics. But in terms of keeping track of how much you read within certain periods of time, then this tracker would be good for you. As I mentioned, I created it for readathons, but you don't need to use it just for readathons. If you just kind of want to see how much you read on a daily basis within a month, then feel free to use this as well. I guess without further ado, let's jump into the walkthrough and I'll show you around the spreadsheet, how to use it, and some important things to remember to make sure that the spreadsheet works correctly. Alright, so welcome to the reading tracker. This is a spreadsheet that I have created in Google Docs, so it's easy for you guys to access and replicate so you can edit it yourself. But I decided to do it as a Google Docs because if I make any changes and any updates to help improve it, you will be able to get access to the up-to-date file versus continuing to track down a new version. This first tab here is just a bit of a welcome introduction to the spreadsheet, the kinds of things that you can do. I also have that information about Let's Read's spreadsheet with the link there. But yeah, this is what's going on here. If I do make any changes as well, I will update the date here, just so if you do go back to this spreadsheet and it's a more recent date than you last looked at it, then you'll know that there have been some changes made. Next up, we have the how-to page. So this is just a walkthrough guide of how to use the spreadsheet, what all the features are, and some important information, which I will touch on in a little while. Rather than just talking through this page here, I'm actually going to use the spreadsheet and show you how I would input information. But first things first, this is the master version, which I'm only able to edit. So you're not going to be able to use this version yourself. In order to get this spreadsheet so that you can edit it for your own purposes, you need to click on File, make a copy. Say you want to use this spreadsheet for the Newt's Magical Readathon 2019. That's what I'm going to be using it for. Then you click OK, and then it will add a new version of this to your Google Drive. So that's how you do it. Beautiful. Let's move on to the tracker. Over on the left here, you can see the totals. So this here gives you the total number of pages that you've read, minutes that you've listened to, so you can track audiobooks separately if you want to. It'll also show you how many books you've started and how many books you have finished. Underneath that, we have these two columns. So we have day and time. And this basically is the area where you set the time intervals that you want to track. So for me, I often use this spreadsheet for readathons where I do vlogs, and at random points throughout the day for the entire duration of the readathon, I'll film an update and be like, this is what I've read so far. And at that time, I'll put up a little page counter on the screen. So it's going to be completely random, but you might want to track things in a little bit more of a regimented manner. So say if we're going for a week-long readathon or a week-long period that you want to track your reading, we'll go on a day-to-day basis. So we're just going to be tracking how many pages that you read within 1 week daily. That's what I'm going to do here. Each row represents 1 day. I'm not going to bother with the time because it's one whole day rather than a certain point within the day. This color code here gives you an idea of what cells you should and should not touch. Anything that is white or yellow, please do not touch, because this is where all of the formulas lie. We've got these kind of progress columns and the total columns. I'll show you all of this when I actually demonstrate inputting data into the spreadsheet. Anything that is purple or blue are the fields where you input information. So of course, over on the left, we have the days, we have the times, and then over here, we have all of the information regarding the books, specific information about how many pages or minutes it is in total, the format, and you can choose between book or audio, and then the page that you start on. So let's dive into an example, why don't we? I'll start with, I'm going to be reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I'm not going to type out the whole thing. I don't know off the top of my head the page count, but let's just go for a nice whole number. It's 300 pages. For this one, we are reading the book, but as I said, you can choose the format book or audio. Audio will mean that you track everything in minutes. If you like to convert your audiobook progress into page count, so you can track everything in one figure, I guess, then stick to book, and we'll jump into how you can convert minutes to pages in a moment. As you can see, I have not started yet because I haven't inputted any information within this column. And the start page, I'm going to be, say it's the start of the month, I'm going to be continuing Harry Potter, but I've already read 50 pages. So I'm going to put the start page is 50 so that when I actually put in my progress, it'll calculate everything correctly. So it's day 1 of this week-long readathon. I have a pretty crappy first day. I don't read anything. We get to day 2 and I read 50 pages. If I put 100 here, as you can see, the progress says 100, which is incorrect because I already started on page 50. So this is the one thing that I haven't been able to figure out myself, and that is anytime you put in a number in this current page or minute column, you cannot leave anything below it blank. So this includes the start page. This means that anytime you have a number bigger than 0, the row beneath it needs to be filled in as well, even if you don't make progress. So I still have to put 50 in there, otherwise it's going to calculate everything wrong. So the way that I kind of think of it is, for every single row, I need to put the current page count for all of the books I'm in the middle of. Even if I haven't made any progress since the last time I updated, you need to put the current page count, otherwise it's going to track everything wrong. So again, say I don't read anything on day 3, I cannot leave that blank, otherwise the next time I put in data, it's going to calculate it as if I had read from page 1. So again, no progress here, but I still need to put the current page count. It is kind of annoying, but you just need to make sure that anytime you input a number into the column, current pages or minutes, nothing below it can be blank unless you have finished the book. Obviously, if I've reached page 300, I don't need to continue doing 300 here because it's not calculating anything new. You would have also seen that the progress automatically changed to finish. So that one does automatically change depending on whether you've not started the book, is the automatic one. When you have started putting in progress, it'll change to that. And then when you finish the book, when that page count matches the total pages or minutes, it will say you've finished the book. Now, let's say I also start reading Aurora Rising, and I'm going to be listening to the audiobook for this. Let's say the total minutes for this is 650. That's probably way off. But anyway, the format I'm listening to this is on audio because I want to track the minutes, starting from the beginning of the book. So it's the first day of the readathon. Even though I didn't read anything physically, I did actually listen to 100 minutes of Aurora Rising. As you can see, it tracks the progress here, and the totals and the progress will actually come into this column here. So these 4 columns are divided up into your minutes and the pages. As you can see here, we have progress in minutes, total in minutes, progress in pages, and total in pages. Now, the difference between these 2 columns, the progress will calculate everything that you've read in that single row. So it's adding up all of the things you've read since your last update. The totals columns are cumulative, so it will add up everything kind of as you go, and tell you the total you've read up until that point in time. So as you can see with the pages, the progress is I've read 50 pages here, and that equals a total of 50. No progress since the last update, but I've still read a total of 50 pages so far. Another 50 pages progress, which means my total has come to 100. So this will just give you an idea of the total amount you've read all up, and this also translates into these total boxes over on the left. You can also see that I've started 2 books. If I had finished one, I then have finished one. Beautiful. Continuing on. So we're still listening to some more of the audiobook, but not on days 3 and 4. We'll leave that. We're not listening to anything else. Continue making progress. Look at that. Fantastic. Okay, look at all those progresses. It's looking good. So for audiobooks, if you want to track minutes, the only thing you need to do differently is change the format from book to audio. If it was book, all of the progress would come up in these 2 columns under pages. Now, say you're listening to an audiobook, but you want to track it in pages because at the end of it, you want to have a total page count rather than splitting it up between pages and minutes. You want to see all of your reading accomplishments in one number. If you do that, you need to treat it as a book. Say Aurora Rising is 450 pages. You're tracking the pages, so you're going to say book. What we need to do here is come to the next tab, which is the audiobook minute to page converter. So this is where you can kind of input all of your information and it will automatically calculate what the page number is based on the minute that you're listening to. So first up we have Aurora Rising. The minutes I had was like 650, I think. The pages was 450. Now, when it comes to progress, say we have listened to 100 minutes of Aurora Rising. The equivalent page number is 69. So when it comes to adding our progress, we will input 69. And then continuing forward, every time you want to put in a new update, you just come here, add your current minute, and it tells you everything you need to know. Easy peasy. The next tab over here is the ebook location to page converter. So if you're reading an ebook, it obviously tracks your progress differently than a physical book, unless you're reading like a PDF version. In that case, you have 2 options for the ebooks. The first one here is the location. So one of the settings, I'm going based off a Kindle. I don't know about other e-readers, but on the Kindle, you have an option to see your progress in terms of the location. Say you're reading Vicious and the locations are 1200 total. The book itself is page 450 and you want to track your progress when you're at location 267. The equivalent page in the physical book will be 100. That should be a really easy conversion. If you don't have locations, I'm not sure, I'm assuming most e-readers have the location feature, but if not, you can also scroll down and figure out the page count based on the percentage. However, this is not going to be quite as accurate because I feel like most of the percentages are going to be whole numbers, not like 25.43%. It's going to be 25%. And because of this, it's going to be rounding up or down, so it's not going to be completely accurate. So if you have the option, I would recommend using the location feature rather than the percentage. But if you don't have that option, you can use percentage here and just kind of get a general idea. In terms of the conversions, I think that's all that there really is to say. Hopefully that all made sense. I hope I'm explaining things well. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below and I'll try and explain things further. Now, if you're doing a readathon with reading challenges, you can also keep a track of everything in this handy tab. Let me do an example. So say our first reading challenge is to reread a favorite book. The second challenge is to listen to an audiobook. The third challenge is read a fantasy novel. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be rereading a favorite book, and that is Harry Potter 1. Now, you can see that it automatically filled out the information here. It knows that my current page is 150, which is correct. The last update is 150. It automatically inputted the total pages and minutes because that's exactly what I wrote here. So if I changed it's 250, you can see automatically changes. It all does it for you. And then progress. It showed you that I have started this challenge, but I have not finished yet because I haven't finished the book. Listening to an audiobook, I'm listening to Aurora, Rising. Again, automatically fills out that information. I just realized I misspelled that. Good one, Kaz. Read a fantasy novel. I'm also going to be using Harry Potter for this challenge. And if I were to do a different spelling, so if I'm reading Harry Potter 1, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, because this does not match this title here, it's not going to track the information. So I need to make sure that the titles are exactly the same. Beautiful. So say I do make more progress on Harry Potter. I've now finished the book because I've hit page 300. Over here, it tells me that I have finished challenge 1 and I have finished challenge 3. Hooray! 2 challenges, 1 book. Amazing. If you're listening to the audiobook and tracking the minutes, same thing here, no difference. It goes by pages or minutes no matter what. Is that all that I needed to show you? I think there's one hidden tab, which is calculations. Please don't touch anything in here, otherwise this will mess up some of the formulas. I've included some little reminders here just so you don't mess around with things. So it says do not delete or alter the progress columns. It will mess up the formulas. So again, if you're wanting to clear a column, please only clear this one. If you delete this, the formulas disappear. I made the settings so it sets up like a little warning in case you accidentally delete them. In terms of how many books you can track, I've set it up so you can do 60, just because I figured some people might want to track for more than a month, or they might read a hell of a lot of books in 1 month, and you have the option to read up to 60 books in here. In terms of how many rows, I think there's about 500 or so. If you run out of space, however, you can add more rows at the bottom, and then you can just copy and paste the rows down and it will copy the formulas for you. So you don't need to change anything, you just need to copy it all. But I'm pretty sure that's all that I needed to show you. I hope you guys find this useful. If there are any cells that don't work properly, please let me know. I did have a few wonderful people beta test this, so we should have found most of the kinks, but again, because there's so many rows and so many columns, there might be a stray formula here and there. And again, if you have any improvements, I would love to hear your feedback. I have included my email address, have I? Yes, here on the welcome page, so you can send your feedback to me. The main problem that I'm trying to solve is the need to input information in every single row if you add a number. I would love to be able to go 150 pages and it just calculates the 12 for me rather than having to input information there. So if anyone knows a way around this with a formula that's relatively simple and won't involve a lot of manual changes, then please let me know. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find it useful. Again, send me any feedback, any issues, and if there's any confusion with how I've explained things, just let me know. Obviously, I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not sure if I've explained it in a way that's easy to understand. So yeah, have a try, just give it a whirl, and yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in a new video, but until then, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye!